20 years being a rabbi.
Yes.
What does it mean to be a woman and a rabbi, let's say?
Well, for a lot of people, they find it very easy to speak to a woman who's a rabbi. Many women, they feel that they can tell their problems to women who are rabbis, or they can, they feel they relate to women who are rabbis. But also many men, they just find that women who are rabbis have a different style. And most of the time, though, people just think of me as a rabbi. They don't really say woman rabbi, they just think of me as their rabbi.
That's in Toronto. How do you feel outside Toronto that in many places they don't recognize? I'm going to say they don't accept, but they even don't recognize that it can be a woman involved in religion. Don't say
yes.
Rabbi also, involved in religion. How was it? How is it?
Well, you know, things have changed so much in the last 25 years. When I first began, it was really hard. When I first began, people were always criticizing me or questioning me or wanting to make sure, do you really know Torah? Do you really know, what you're doing, Halacha, Talmud, and all this? And as I became more and more involved and more learned, people began to say, you know what, she knows something. And then people just say, we can look past her gender and say, this is a rabbi we can respect. So I think much has changed in 25 years. But I know, for example, here in Latin America, it's still a very traditional, conservative kind of community. And it's maybe very unusual still to see a woman who's a rabbi, a woman with talit, a woman with kippah. And I think most of it is not about halacha. Most of it is just sociology. What are people uncomfortable with? What are people comfortable with? What's familiar? What is new?
Is there any place, let's say in the Torah or in some place, where you can argue with the people that say women cannot be involved in the religion? Because many will say, in the religion, God said, I don't know,
right.
cannot be women inside or doing religious things.
Yes. First of all, the Torah says nothing about this. The Torah does not say that men can be rabbis or women can be rabbis, because the Torah doesn't talk about rabbis. And we know there are women leaders in the Torah. Devorah is a judge, and she's accepted in the Tanakh as a judge. Miriam is a prophet. She's accepted as one of the great leaders of Israel. It says later in the Nevi'im that there were 3 great leaders in Israel: Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. So she's counted as one of them. And we know even in Jewish history there are many women leaders. So we know there's really no prohibition against women being leaders. There are halachic questions about, can a woman lead a service? Is she equally obligated in prayer the way a man is? But there are many halachic answers to this which say if a woman obligates herself, she is obligated.
Why do you think, if it doesn't say in any place, and you say about many women that have become leaders in in the Jewish religion, why do you think it became that not even they cannot be in the religion, they cannot be in a minyan, that doesn't count, they cannot touch the Torah, many
right.
of these things? Why do you think?
Well, the Talmud is very clear. It says that there are mitzvot that you have to do at a certain time of day. These are called mitzvot aseh shehazman grama. It means a positive mitzvah, thou shalt, only do during a certain time of the day, not at night, just during the day. And I think the rabbis were trying to be compassionate when they said women don't have to worry about these mitzvot because they're busy at home with the children. If you say a woman must be at the minyan at 6 a.m., well, who's going to nurse the baby? So that was in the 2nd century. Things are much different now. So I understand that in the past, women were exempted, not obligated in these mitzvot, but nowhere does it say they are prohibited. It just says they are not obligated. It's voluntary. So now we have the situation where many women voluntarily take on these mitzvot, to wear a talit, to pray every day, to do the different things that are obligated upon Jews. Because many Jewish women just want to be considered Jews, just Jews, and not worry so much about the gender titles.
What do you think women that see you outside your community, like a rabbi, think about it, and they look to you like oh, I want to be like that. She did something that, or how do they look at you?
I think, you know what, for me there was no inspiration who was a woman. I never saw a woman on the bima. I never saw a woman read Torah. I never saw a woman have an aliyah. But I knew in my mind, this is what I wanted to do. So I think of all the little girls who have grown up seeing me on the bima doing these things, and they say to themselves, this is natural, this is normal, this is something I can aspire to. And I know there are many men also who see a woman on the bima and they say, this is great, this is important, this is fabulous. This means that 55% of the Jewish people who are women are now more passionate, more committed, more involved, because they're more integrally part of it.
Going to ask us. And for rabbis that you find in other places, like here in Mexico, you work with a lot of communities. How do they look at you? They accept it. There are many places where not. How do you deal with that?
You know, I've been a rabbi a long time, so I've been through this many times. A long time ago I said, I will be the best rabbi I can be. If someone says she is not a rabbi, that doesn't hurt me or stop me or be an obstacle for me, because I say, I am the best rabbi I can be. I teach Torah, I help people connect to Judaism, and if that person doesn't want to accept me as a rabbi, then, you know, that's his decision. Maybe I don't accept him as a rabbi either.
What's next for you?
Oh, well, first of all, this has been a wonderful experience for me, being involved in the Latin American community and teaching, presenting here in the conference was really special. I am going back to Toronto, where I am building a new Reform congregation in downtown Toronto, where there is no Reform congregation. And I'm very, very busy with that. I have about 150 people so far. And I continue to teach. I travel a lot where I give lectures, especially about women in Judaism.
How big is the community in Toronto?
Oh, it's huge, 250,000.
And how big is your congregation?
Right now, just 150 people, families, 150 families, but we started only 3 months ago.
All right.
So we're growing.
That's the one in downtown?
Downtown Toronto.
And before that?
Before that, for 20 years, I was in charge of adult education at the Jewish Community Center.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to have you around here, and it's going to be interesting.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.